Hey, thanks for joining me. We're up to issue 9 of Batman and Robin, The Boy Wonder by Frank Miller and Jim Lee. I've been saying that this book, you kind of just have to forget that it's not what you wanted it to be. This is not what we all kind of were hoping that it would be. And if you just kind of accept it for what it is, this over the top, insane bullshit version of Batman, and just kind of go along for the ride, you could find some enjoyment out of it. It's not, this is not the Batman that you want to read, honestly. He's a psychotic, out of his mind, like crazy man. And he's kidnapped a 12-year-old kid and is warping this kid's mind to bring him into his own little war. It's taking a very dark and disturbing approach to a concept that we all just kind of accept as kind of okay. Like the idea of Batman, like the vigilante who saw something horrible happen to him, like the worst possible thing, and he makes a vow to stop this kind of horrible stuff from happening to anybody else, and that works. And then we kind of have to just learn to accept the idea of him taking on a kid and training him as a partner. There's no logical world where that would ever be acceptable, but for some reason in the Batman Prime universe, we're kind of like, all right, we'll kind of go with it, sure. But in this version, everything is it's just so horrifying and terrible. And I guess I can appreciate that kind of approach. I mean, sure, it's something different. Like, why tell the same Batman story? That's the problem with these characters that have been around for... How long has Batman been around? Is he 80 years or something like that? I'm not even sure. Like, at what point do you just, like, every story has been told with this guy, so you just do something different? Like, that's a valid reason to try something crazy, but I don't know. This Frank Miller thing, I've been kind of, for lack of a better term, making excuses for this book since issue 1. And I stand by my justifications. I will say this issue is when things started to get this is just stupid. Like, this is dumb. And Frank has lost his mind. Like, he has lost his mind completely. And I don't understand what the hell it was going on in his head. I have to wonder if Jim Lee was reading these scripts and just kind of in his mind, he's like, oh my God, they're going to pair up Frank Miller, who, wrote The Dark Knight, like arguably the best Batman comic story ever written. And Jim Lee's like, I get to draw the sequel to it with Frank Miller. This is going to be amazing. And then he gets these scripts, and I wonder if he was just like, I'm committed to it, and I can't do anything about it. So here we are. So Batman has finally gotten Robin out of the Batcave and into a costume, and he got a signal over Gotham from Green Lantern saying, meet me somewhere. So now this is where we're picking up. So you got Batman facing off against Green Lantern. Now, if I've ever read, and you know what, I'm going to say I 100% know for a fact, I have never read any comic book where Green Lantern was the star of the book. I have read some books where he was in it, and he's one of those characters where I understand the character's history and his legacy in the world of comics. He's a big deal. But I don't know anything about him really beyond kind of the basics. And I want to say that I don't like him, but it's not fair for me to say I don't like him. It's just he holds no interest for me, really. But that's most DC comics anyway. But I do understand, for whatever reason in the goddamn universe, the color yellow is like, was it like kryptonite to Green Lanterns? It's some color thing. I don't understand why. I only know that it exists. And Batman somehow got that information, that yellow, I don't know, does it negate the powers of the Green Lantern? Like, if you think about it logically, it doesn't make any damn sense. But it exists in the story. Batman knows everything. The way Frank writes him, he's a completely infallible, unbeatable, psychotic vigilante monster. So everything is painted yellow around them where they meet up. And the text is, in this case, it's the thoughts of Batman himself. And it's just the same kind of like Frank Miller bullshit writing that for some reason works in Sin City with certain characters. But here it's just, you hate the fucking character. You learn to hate Batman, or just like he's kind of a disgusting, insufferable character. But part of the thing with Batman, he doesn't care if you think that about him. He could care less. He's out there on his mission, and he's going to do whatever it takes to succeed. So the point is that they're meeting up to talk. And the basic premise is that Green Lantern is trying to tell Batman that, like, you're supposed to be on the side of the heroes, but you're giving all of us heroes like a bad name with your horrible actions. Like, you're going to ruin everything for all of us. Like, you need to, Green Lantern saying here, he's like, they gave me this one chance to talk some sense into you. You could ruin everything for us. And Batman continues thinking here how he thinks that Green Lantern is the biggest idiot. He thinks Hal Jordan's the stupidest motherfucker he's ever met. He's given this ring, Hal Jordan is, he's given this ring that can conjure up anything you can think of from your mind. And Batman's like, all he does is conjure up like fishing poles and mouse traps. He's like, give me that ring and I will set the world right real fast. So he thinks Hal Jordan's just an idiot. It's interesting down here that you got the Green Lantern ring, and it's illustrated to look like it's, there's little sparks, a little wave of energy. Is that supposed to imply that because he's surrounded by the yellow color that it's not working? Does Hal Jordan even understand that? If he did, would he even agree to show up into a room that's all painted yellow? I don't know. Yeah, it says here, Batman's inner thoughts. He says, thing is, old Hal Jordan here, that's his real name. The moron can't keep his secrets from me. He can't even make himself a green dandelion with that ring of his if what he's up against is yellow. It's the dumbest weakness I've ever heard of. Yeah, I agree. So here we go. It cuts back to a little bit ago where Batman's got Robin, and they're in this safe house. It's a safe house that Batman owns. And they paint everything yellow. Like, it just, when you just speak it out loud, it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. Like, why is this a thing? Why is yellow a thing? And why would we just kind of keep latching onto it? I don't know if some modern writers in the Green Lantern lore just kind of skip over it or change the fundamental thought behind the idea of yellow being a color that Green Lantern can't fight against. And Frank Miller would be one to just lean into it. So the colorist gets the, I don't know if it made his job easier to just have everything be yellow except for the Green Lantern himself. So there's lots of text going on here. And Green Lantern, basically, to sum it up, he's trying to talk Batman, like I was saying before. He's trying to talk him into, like, you've got to use your time and your efforts and your abilities for a greater purpose and stop being so horrible. He says, like, lower your profile, maybe do a little community service here and there. You're scaring people. And Batman smiles. He's like, yeah, I'm scaring people. Why the hell do you think I dress up like a goddamn bat? I want to scare the crap out of people. He says, you've got all the rest of you guys out there to reassure them the world's a nice, safe place. So he says, I leave it to you and your posse to mix it up with all those bug-eyed monsters. Me, I'll hunt down street-level vermin, rapists, murderers, thieves, like that. Them, you have to scare. You have to scare those kind of people. And Green Lantern's not wanting to hear. It's like, get off your high horse. We're all here to help. We're all here to help people, but it's your methods that we find repugnant. He says, more of your victims, and yeah, that's what I call them, victims, wind up in the hospital than the jail. Every time I turn around, I hear about you smashing some lowlife's femur or shattering a cop's jaw. So Batman's like, have you seen Gotham's crime rate? Have you seen how low it is? He says, the streets are even safer now. And then Frank Miller is doing this thing where he keeps trying to get Hal Jordan to try some lemonade. Like he's being a passive-aggressive asshole. He's like, you really should try the lemonade on a hot day like this. It's a godsend. And Green Lantern's like, dude, shut up. I don't care about that. And he's saying, Green Lantern's saying that you got a lot of the people out there in the world calling us criminals. And Batman's like, of course we're criminals. We've always been. We have to be. And the text from Batman's inner thoughts are saying that he's almost laughing. Like he has to stifle his laughter so he doesn't like make fun of Hal Jordan. And Hal gets sick of it. He says, you son of a bitch, you'll ruin everything. You'll get us killed. So Hal Jordan punches Batman 1, 2, 3, like across the jaw, into the gut, and into the jaw again. Batman drops his lemonade he was drinking, and for some reason they have Robin grab it and hold it and refill the cup like a good little soldier. He's not going to let Batman's cup fall to the ground. He's going to make sure it's refilled, ready to hand it to him. So Robin says, guess the man wants a fight after all, huh, boss? Here's some more fresh squeezed lemonade. Batman says, thanks, kid. Nah, Hal here, he's not looking for a fight. He's just expressing himself. Let him vent. He'll feel better. And Hal's just like, and then there's this kid, right? This is perfect. You kidnap a 12-year-old boy in flagrant violation of the law and dress him up as a teen sidekick. You're out of your mind. So Lantern's like, obviously correctly saying, you've taken this kid, you've kidnapped him. And Lantern's like saying, look, we all saw on the news from, it was like issues 1 and 2 of this story, where Batman kidnapped Dick Grayson after the whole situation with Grayson's parents getting killed in front of him. Batman ran off with the kid, then no one's seen the kid ever since. And so Lantern's like, I'm not stupid. This is that kid. Now you're like brainwashing him, training him to fight in your little war. He's like, you're trying to tell me this isn't Dick Grayson? And Batman's like, that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. This is not Dick Grayson. What planet have you been on? And Lantern's like, it's been all over the papers. I know exactly what you're talking about. Batman says, I rescued Dick Grayson from a pack of corrupt cops. I admitted him to a trauma clinic. They kept his identity secret to avoid undue attention. Figured the boy had been through enough. Then Batman says he made his first public statement yesterday. It was all over the papers. And Lantern has this look of shock, like, wait, what? So then we cut to a splash page of, there's Dick Grayson, bunch of microphones surrounding him, and a newspaper article. And Grayson's saying, sure, I was scared at first. Anyway, Batman's really scary. He's about 10 feet tall, and he's hairy all over. He's got big ears that go all the way out to here on him, but he's nice. So it's saying yesterday, this like there was a newspaper article and a TV report, or a news report. And then back to now, Lantern's like, I don't buy it. Now here's where it gets even stupider. Batman's just sitting in a chair, and Robin's back in the background like reading a comic book or something. And Lantern's like, I don't buy it. And Batman says, huh? Did you say something? And Robin says, I didn't even know he was still here. They're like so sarcastically douchebaggy that they're just acting like Lantern's not there because he's so inconsequential. So Lantern, he's like trying to put it together. It just doesn't make sense. It's too much of a coincidence. You kidnap a kid, and then you just show up with a sidekick the same age. You must have bribed everybody at that clinic. I wouldn't put it past you. And so Batman says, but that would have cost a fortune. Lantern says, so maybe you're rich. For all I know, you're a billionaire. I've seen that car you're driving. So Robin says, he's got a point right there. Maybe he's right. Maybe I am Dick Grayson. So Lantern says, don't try and confuse me, damn it. So again, Batman and Robin are just being douchebag dickheads to Lantern here. So Batman says, that paint on his face, should I tell him? They're implying that Lantern touched something with his hand and got yellow on it. And then he touched his face. And now he's got yellow paint on his face. And Robin's like, no, man, it's too good. Don't spoil it. And Lantern's like, what are you talking about? Oh, never mind. What the hell? This isn't worth it. It's your funeral, Batman. Just keep the kid out of it, for God's sakes. And so then Batman starts lying through his fucking teeth. This young man isn't my sidekick. He's my protege. I met him 6 years ago on a trip to Istanbul. And Lantern's like, don't try and lie to me. And Batman raises his hand. He's like, on my word of honor, on a stack of Bibles. So Lantern's like, all right, I'm listening. So Batman he starts almost laughing. He's like, I can't do it. He's like, and here I had such a whopper to lay on you. It spanned all the way from Istanbul to China to Sparta. all about this adept kid who surpassed every guru on earth, and it was one good yarn. You might just have bought it. I don't know you, and I don't particularly like you, but you wear the tights. That's got to count for something. I just can't out and out lie to you. So Batman's like, I was going to lie through my teeth to you, but I just can't do it. But believe me, this is not Dick Grayson. He's got the fastest hands you've ever seen. And so Lantern's walking. He's like, go to hell. He's walking away. And so Robin says, then where's that ring of yours, Mr. Green Jeans? So Lantern stops, turns and looks, and his lantern ring is missing off his hand. And you cut to this shot here. Robin's got it. The Lantern says, this is not funny. Give me back that ring right now. So I went back and looked. I'm like, where was the last place we saw the ring? And it was here on this panel down here when Lantern punched him. And then you don't see it anywhere else because it's showing that it's on his right hand on his middle finger. But you can't see it right here. So when he points at Robin, it had to have been somewhere right here because right there is his right hand and his middle finger. There's no ring. And it's not anywhere. They could have had some kind of scene somewhere where you get the implication that Robin had an opportunity to take it. But it's not shown. They're just trying to show you that Robin's got quick hands, just like Batman said. And he took Lantern's ring. So Lantern is pissed. Batman says, hey, not so fast. I warned you about this, kid. So Lantern says, give me that ring, you little snot. So Lantern goes after Robin. And so now Robin gets to show off his crazy acrobatic abilities. He jumps off the chair, slides under his legs, and takes the ring in his hand and locks it into a little, little container on his belt. And Batman's like, oh, he's a natural, learned faster than I did. So now we get to see Robin, a 12-year-old kid, absolutely make Hal Jordan look like a complete incompetent idiot with his gymnastic tucking and rolling. And I'm like, where in the hell did Robin get physical training like this? Yes, he was a gymnast, but he's like a 12-year-old kid. And it does say in here that in the last couple of, let's see, it says that Batman's been training him, but it doesn't say for how long. Days, weeks, maybe? But suddenly Robin is this unstoppable badass. Now, granted, Hal Jordan's not trying to fucking murder a child. You know, he's just trying to get the ring back. So if he went out with like murderous intent, maybe he could do something. But Robin just makes him look like a chump, which is fine. That's always been the concept with Robin. He's a natural and he's really good at what he does. But the kid has to learn. Plus, no 12-year-old kid is going to take down a full-grown man. But yeah, it's saying that Batman sees how good Robin is. He's like, it almost scares the crap out of me how good he is. And then in that same breath, Robin does this jump, twirl, land, and open, like straight palm strike, finger strike to the throat of Hal Jordan right there. And Batman's dialogue here says, this is the first time I've witnessed him in open combat, and I don't like what I'm seeing. And he's like, oh shit, oh shit. What the hell just happened? So then Batman grabs Robin, throws him to the ground, says, you little snot. And Robin's like, boss, I don't get it. What did I do? So Batman punches Robin in the face. Bam. Robin's like, did I do something wrong? And so Lantern's over here choking to death on his own blood. Batman's saying, shut up while I figure out a way to trach this guy. The last thing we need is a corpse on our hands, you stupid little snot. So basically, Robin crushed his windpipe with a single strike with his hands. And Hal Jordan is going to die. So Batman gives him this device and says, break it off and make the edge of the tube jagged so it'll cut through flesh. He's like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So Batman takes his mask off. And so they basically perform surgery and they trach the guy where they slit open his throat and insert a tube to where he can breathe through the tube so he doesn't suffocate to death. And Robin said, like, it's broken, sir. Yes, here's your device. Yes, sir. Here's the tools out of your belt that you need. And so Batman trachs Green Lantern there. He says, congratulations, kid. You're not a murderer. He says, there's a phone in the corner, the old rotary kind. Figure out how to use it and call him an ambulance. And if you puke, I'll break your goddamn neck. I'm like, what the hell is going on? What kind of insane, like Batman is making an absolutely remorseless, conscienceless, psychotic murderer out of a 12-year-old kid. Because he's already trying to kill people. And then Batman has to beat his ass down. Like, what the hell are we doing here? So then we get a splash page, 2 splash pages. One of them is the narration is now from Robin. You see that the yellow paint is washing off them because they're out in the rain. I mean, I have to say, I haven't really mentioned much about the art. I've just been talking about the ridiculous, stupid story. But Jim Lee's in full fine form, alliteration aside. He's in great form here. You know, I've said that his Hush work never really excited me. And from what I've been hearing people say these days, even Hush 2 is not exciting people. But from an artistic perspective, I feel like all this stuff artistically looks great. I love the inking. The inking is really standing out to me from Scott Williams, of course. I mean, I'm certain it's him doing all of this. Is it in the front? Let's just double check. Yes, Scott Williams, of course. But yeah, the inking is standing out. It doesn't hurt because of all the bright yellow, so the black lines of the inkwork just stand out. Like, all this art looks really good. I'm loving it. But the story is just beyond stupid. But this shot looks great. And so now it's the inner thoughts of Robin. And he says, I hold it down, meaning the puke. Batman said, if you puke, I'll break your jaw. So Robin's saying, I hold it down until the first ambulance arrives. Then I spray out dinner all over the bushes. He doesn't break my neck. He doesn't say anything about firing me either. He doesn't say a word. I'm crying and gulping like the little snot he said I was. I almost killed a man tonight, a man who never did me any harm. And I enjoyed every second of it more than I've ever enjoyed anything. I wanted to kill him. My tongue's all swelled up and my throat's gone so dry it's like I've got razor blades stuck in it. So I don't talk either. So that's Robin's inner monologue. And it's implying that he's like, we're trying to get the idea across that he understands that he did something bad and he understands that he enjoyed doing something really bad. And this is not good. Now we go over to this shot of Batman and why we put him in this pose of all fucking things. But now it's Batman's thoughts. He says, I don't know what to say to the boy. I blamed it on him. I was wrong. It was on my watch. He was in my charge. What have I done? What have I accomplished? I've done plenty. I've taken an adept, meaning an adept kid, and taught him how to fight. I've taught him how to kill. And that's all I've taught him. I rushed things. I dragged him into my world. It was reckless. I rushed it. I blew it. He says, I had years to learn my path. I had wise gurus and the gentle hand of dear old Alfred. I had years to learn every side of lethal power. I had years to learn the great thoughts of great men, and all he's had is weeks in the hands of a joyriding, cackling lunatic. I had years to grieve. That's where it started. So now we're getting Batman acknowledging that he's creating a fucking psychotic monster. And he's saying that I had all this time to expand my mind and gain knowledge and study physical combat and morality and all the type of stuff that Batman had to learn in the time where he was, growing into who would become Batman. But then he's just taken this kid and taught him to fight and kill, and that's all he knows. So they jump in the Batmobile and almost run over some deer. God, the coloring is so damn good. But the dialogue from Batman says, he doesn't ask questions. His eyes almost burn the skin off my face, but he doesn't ask any questions. Me, I pray for a second chance, a fresh start. So they come up to somewhere. It doesn't show you where, but they get out of the car and Batman says, find them. Say goodbye. So we get all these silent panels of Robin walking through the rain and the mud in a graveyard to find the gravestone of his parents. So he falls onto his knees in front of the gravestone. He starts punching it in the most kind of cliche portrayal of people dealing with the death of someone important to them. It's in the rain, and he starts punching it to get out his rage. They're just trying to show and imply that he's got to deal with his feelings. You have to grieve. You have to cry. You have to feel bad. You have to be mad. You have to feel sad. You have to feel hopeless and helpless. And you have to punch things, metaphorically or not, to deal with your feelings about this horrible thing that happened. And that's what's supposed to be going on here. So then Batman comes up behind him and hugs him in the rain. And Batman's inner monologue says, "We mourn lives lost, including our own." And so we get this, again, really well-drawn picture of Batman holding Robin in the rain and the clouds, and to be continued. So, I don't know. I feel like Frank Miller's taken this insane approach to make the most ridiculous comic ever, but then he's trying to, like, back off of it and show the human morality side of it to justify who these people will become. And I guess it's in there, but it feels so soulless. It doesn't have the same kind of heart and soul that Frank Miller has had the ability to portray in previous works. It doesn't work at all for me. I get what they're going for. I'm really liking Jim Lee's art in this stuff, and I'm really liking the coloring from Alex Sinclair. Good God, is it good. But the idea, like, these are not a Batman and Robin that are going to grow up to be good men. They're going to be, like, I know I've said 100 times psychotic monsters, but that's who these guys are going to be. It's weird. But it's an approach. It's something. There's a backup story with, I guess there was a DC Wildstorm crossover. They were really, really trying to make the Wild Cats and all adjacent characters a thing in the DC universe. And I've told you before, there is nothing I'm less interested in than seeing the Jim Lee's Wildstorm characters interact in the DC universe. Could not care less. So anyway, yeah. All-Star, Batman and Robin, number 9. Great art. Story is just out of its mind. And it's actually kind of crossed a point where I'm like, I can't even kind of justify the concept of just go along for the ride and enjoy it for what it is when it becomes this stupid. But I don't know. Like, what do you guys think? It's too much. But it's interesting. You can't deny that. There's something interesting going on. Whether you like it or not is a whole other thing. So that's all I've got for now. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time.